You may trip, you may fight, you never do what Pete just did. Welcome back to our Learning Hockey series where we answer questions from new fans of the game and pose them to longtime NHL video coach Steve Peters. We've already got a couple of videos up on the What Chaos YouTube in which we do this. You can get parts 1 and 2. And if you want more hockey explainers, no place better than Petey's channel, Inside the Coach's Room. Petey, welcome back. Let's start with question number 1. Can you explain face-offs and how someone wins one? This question might be from me because one of my favorite players isn't allowed to take face-offs.
I tell you what, face-offs are a conundrum for a lot of people. One, how do they line up? Where do they decide they're going to drop the puck? And why do so many guys get kicked out? So there's a lot going on a face-off. And let's, as we do here on the What Chaos Learner Explainers, as we go to the video, face-off occurs at the start of every game and at every stoppage of play. But the next question is where? There are 9 face-off dots, and the face-offs are going to occur at any of those dots. And all the lines on the ice tell people where to line up. And if you look on the right, you can see that the guys are supposed to stand behind that. The face-off and the centerman, they got to have their feet behind the line, and everybody has got to have their feet outside of the circle. And that's important when you drop the puck. Claude Giroux is one of the best in the league. This is a win. When Claude Giroux takes the face-off and he slaps the puck back to his teammate and they gain possession of the puck, that is a win for the Ottawa Senators. And again, you're going to see it. He gets it back. This time his winger helps out, and his winger's the one that actually makes the play, but they gain possession. That's a win for Ottawa, which can't win them all. This time the New York Rangers against Giroux, they get the puck back, they get possession. That is a loss for Claude Giroux. But there's so many things to get kicked out. You got to have your stick down, and you can't go early. If you go early, like the black player did here, you're going to get kicked out of that face-off. And look for that referee to point to the direction of the centerman that's going to get kicked out. And you're going to see it this time. If you jump the gun, that time it was the white player. Yep, you guessed it. Kicked out of the circle. But it's not just the centerman. Let's see. Watch McKinnon, one of the best in the league, but you want to get that advantage. So sometimes you go before they drop the puck, and you're going to get kicked out of that face-off. And the centerman, it's not just on them. It's on the wingers, too. You can see here in Nashville, if you jump early and you cross into that circle before the puck is dropped, unfortunately, it's your centerman that's going to take the blame, and he is going to get kicked out of the circle. And you're going to see it again with the winger stepping in. Oh, no, this is your buddy. This is Leon Draisaitl. Gets kicked out all the time. And you know why he gets kicked out so much? One, he's trying to push it, and he's trying to take advantage of the other centerman. But he's most common has Connor McDavid on the ice with him, so somebody else can take that face-off. And hopefully that helps explain a little bit on why guys are getting kicked out of the face-off circle.
Another thing I love about face-offs, and this is way too nerdy, this is like 501, but other players' impact. Like, obviously, a lot of time it's being drawn back to the defenseman, but an important thing for a lot of wingers, like, it's a very thankless job, but being a good retriever of pucks when the face-off's kind of won, or it's a toss-up, or it's some sort of in-between, and you need to jump on that thing, get there first without taking yourself out of position. Pete, who are some of your favorite face-off guys?
Sidney Crosby, and part of that reason, I will say, we have to address that cheating is generally allowed or encouraged for some of the top face-off men. When you talk about any of the top face-off men in hockey, they all cheat. It's just whether or not you can get caught. So, Petey, can you explain like some of the best cheating methods in the face-off dot?
Unfortunately, you can't cheat as much as you used to because they've added all of those lines, and you can't use your hand. We had a face-off man, Brad Richardson, here in Arizona, who won a Stanley Cup with LA. Phenomenal face-off guy because he used his hands. He just pushed on the center, he put his hand down on the puck, and he slapped it back with his hand. Can't play the puck with your hand anymore. But you're right. You need that advantage. And guys are going to try to anticipate that drop of the puck. And that's why so many guys get caught cheating. It's because they're going too fast. You're also going to see guys that are slapping it at their opponent's stick versus trying to hit the puck because you want to knock their stick out of the way and out of their hands before you swipe the puck back. And like they say in NASCAR, if you ain't rubbing, you ain't racing. If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
That sounds like a bonus question later on. Question number 2, please teach the types of shots. I'm going to ask you to personally teach me how to take a slap shot because I can do, I think you're going to cover 3 here. One of them I do well, but the other two not so much.
Do you do something? So I tell you what, with shots, I'm a goalie, and my puck handling stunk.
Oh,
I was
right.
Horrific goalie. But and when I did goalie clinics, I was shot on 10-year-olds, so I actually was able to get the puck up and into the twine. But let's go to the video and look at a couple of the different shots. The most effective is the wrist shot. You see Austin Matthews, a wrist shot is you're using your upper arms and your wrist. Your stick doesn't come off the ice, and you're using your arms to wrist the puck to the ice. Very accurate shot. This is a slap shot. This is more powerful. You're going to get the most onto that shot where you're pulling your stick up, getting it over your head, and firing that puck at the net. That's a slap shot. You're going to see it most often on the power play. There's Ovechkin on a one-timer. A one-timer means you pass it, you don't stop it, you shoot it before the puck gets stopped, like here. That's a one-timer, and that's also a slap shot. A snapshot, right in between a wrist shot and a slap shot. It's a short, little slap of the puck, not all the way back like a slap shot. You're just letting it go quickly. That's a snapshot. Backhand, just like it sounds, using the back of the stick to create a backhand shot at the net. Again, if it goes off the back of your stick, that's a backhand. And we talked about a slap pass. You're not trying to score. You're trying to get the puck to your opponent. Look at this pass. Slap pass from Letang to Crosby at the side end. That slap pass, unbelievably effective. Hard for a goalie to read. And those are some of the shots in hockey.
Can I ask you to define a release? Because there is plenty of release chatter when it comes to shots. And it seems like it's kind of thrown around more than it should be by some people. I just want can you please define what release means?
Sure, and technically the release point is when the puck leaves the stick. And there are players that, what makes them so special, and there's a couple of them. Connor Bedard and Austin Matthews are the best in the National Hockey League at changing the release point. What that means is on that Austin Matthews shot, you saw him pull the puck closer to his body. That's changing the angle of the release, and he makes that puck look unusual coming off the stick to a goaltender, because most players are going to release that puck when the arms are extended away from their body because they have the most leverage. But both of those two players can pull the puck in very tight to their body and still get a really good release by changing the angle. And goaltenders and defensemen are not ready for that quick release from an angle where players don't normally take shots from.
If there are any baseball fans out there, it's basically the release of the pitching, like the arm angle. I know that when a submarine pitcher hits the mound, a lot of batters don't know what the hell to do with that because it's not a release point that they've ever dealt with before.
Recommended reading or viewing for some of these shots. Zdeno Chara, if you want to watch some slap shots, or Ally Afraidy, if you want some older video. Zdeno Chara has the hardest slap shot ever. And a slap shot, I'm not a gun guy, don't believe in him, don't like him, but whatever. It's the shotgun, right? It's got like more of a spread. It's like a little tougher to control, but that's like the big blast. And Zdeno Chara from that point is a monster. Wrist shot, where are we going? Maybe like a Connor Bedard something for recommended viewing?
Yeah, Austin Matthews, Connor Bedard.
Austin
Best
Matthews.
wrist shots in the league.
Yeah, okay. And for a snapshot?
Snapshot, you're going to tell you. It's funny. I looked at Tage against the machine from the Buffalo Sabres, a big body guy that can get a puck off quickly without having to release that big slap shot and winding up for it. So look at Tage against the machine.
Question number 3. What is a pinch? We'll take this one. It's the worst infraction you can commit. It's a very bad penalty. You may trip, you may fight. You never do what Pete just did. When the bench is empty and everyone's fighting, that's because someone pinched someone. You are not allowed to do it.
Hockey's
I kid.
very violent, but they don't allow that.
No pinching. What is a pinch, Petey?
And even beyond that pinching, it is also not a heated rivalry.
Correct.
Rivalry reference when you hear, can the defenseman pinch deep? Not from heated rivalry. So let's look at what a pinch is in hockey. We're going to start with our animation. So the animation is going to explain it most. It's when a defenseman comes in off of the blue line and tries to keep the puck inside the offensive zone so his team can keep offensive zone pressure. Now, how far a defenseman to pinch depends on how skilled they are. When you see guys like Hudson, they're going down to the goal line, but you got to have support. And what does that mean? You need to have another player above your opponents before a defenseman can pinch. And what that does, when the defenseman goes down to pinch, his teammate comes in, takes a spot on defense. Everything is fine. If you do not have support, that means your player is below or not above the opponents, and your D pinches, you're really in danger of giving up an odd man rush if that puck gets free. So let's go to the video. You can see Chicago Blackhawks here. Their defenseman on the blue line, he comes down. That is a D pinch. He has support that is above their opponent. That's what allows him to go down and keep the puck into the zone. Again, this time the puck's coming around the wall. You're going to see the defenseman pinching. He's got support. That is coming down and keeping the puck in the offensive zone, and they're able to make a stab at the offensive net. Now, when you can't go, you're going to see the Edmonton Oilers have 3 forwards low, and the Colorado Avalanche are coming up ice. There is no support. No one's above. The D goes down, and you just left one of the fastest players in the world on a breakaway because the defenseman pinched. And one more time for the Oilers, because I like Bouchard. Whoops. D pinches. No support below the Seattle Kraken. Seattle Kraken get an odd man rush and going back the other way. A D pinch play is risk reward. Sometimes it works and you can get an offensive opportunity. Sometimes it doesn't, and the puck's going back the other way.
One day we'll make a separate video just explaining Evan Bouchard. It will be 300 hours long. YouTube will not be able to host it.
I mean,
Servers
speaking
will
of slap shots.
Yeah, I mean, you want to watch the Bouch bomb, as they call it. Evan Bouchard, great, exciting player. Lot of good. The bad is very funny. You can find the clips yourself by just following Pete online. He tweets funny clips of hockey. Question number 4. What are the differences between the forward lines, where a team will have 4 forward lines, the first line, second line, third line, fourth line? Traditionally, back in the day, it used to be the best offensive players played in the top 6, which is the 3 players in the top of the lineup. Third line was more of a checking line. Fourth line was aggressive. Not really the case anymore. So what do the lines do, Petey?
Yeah, before we go to the video on this one, this is another thing you could spend a lot of time on, and it's how rosters are built and how you look to fill spots for different players on different lines, and how and what makes a good team and a good structured line set. But we don't have that kind of time today. So we're just going to do the real basics on what are the lines and what do they look like. You're right. Most teams are going to start off with 4 forward line, Sean, as we go to the video. There we go. There's the Pittsburgh Penguins. 4 lines offensively. And you're right. The top line is usually your most skilled, your best, your Connor McDavid, your Austin Matthews, and your top 6 forwards. That's usually what we refer to when you say the top 6. Those guys are your very skilled guys, more power play time, going to provide your offense. But like DJ said, this lineup changes. The bottom 6 is no longer just thugs and bullies. These guys got to be able to skate. They got to be able to get to the net, and they got to be able to defend and check. You've got 3 defensive pairs. Your top pair is going to be your most offensive, the guys that eat up a ton of ice time and are going to be on most situations. As they go down, you're going to get the defensemen that don't get as many minutes on the ice. And then the 2 goalies, you're going to get a starting goalie that's going to play about 2/3 or more of all the games, and the backup gets the other third. Now, when you look at the lineup, how they look on the ice, the left wing is on the left side of the centerman. These are the forwards. The center takes the faceoff, and the right wing is on the right side of the center. You've got a left defense and a right defense. They're the ones that most common are defending and on the blue line on the offensive side of the puck.
Thank you for highlighting so many individual players that you highlighted there. If anybody wonders what all the stickers on my laptop mean, half of them are inside jokes from the show. But thank you for highlighting Penguins goalie Stuart Skinner, who is a favorite player of mine, and also for highlighting the first line of the Edmonton Oilers. The Edmonton Oilers, very good offensive team, best power play in the league, but their first line really, really exciting with Connor McDavid, the best player in the league. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, a really good two-way player who is also prolific on the power play. And Zach Hyman, a guy who, like, tough customer, stands in front of the net, takes a beating, scores goals. So if you want to watch some of the best, like, first lines in the league, obviously the Oilers are a good place to go. But as Petey said, you're not steered wrong if you are getting into hockey and you just type in Sidney Crosby or type in Austin Matthews or type in Connor McDavid, whoever it may be, Nathan McKinnon. There's so many skilled players. And as you get into the playoffs, Pete, I feel like that's where you start to fall in love with third lines of teams or fourth lines of teams. Line matching is a very important thing for coaches, especially in the playoffs. The home team in games has the last change, which means if there's a stoppage in play, the home team decides who they're putting out on the ice last, which means they could say, Pete put his first line out there. All right, I'm going to put out whoever I wanted to play against that line. And there's a real chess game that goes on. And you find the teams that have depth, which is teams with good third lines that can score, teams with fourth lines that can maintain possession, really win out, even if the other team has maybe the best stars.
Yeah, I constantly say that having a great third line is one of the most important things in all of hockey, and it's kind of the separating factor for me and a lot of teams that are good and a lot of teams that are great, because you can use your third line often to neutralize the best players on the other team. And
Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup last year with it.
Yeah.
right, not only neutralize but also win those minutes, which is outscoring the competition. And so whenever you watch a game and the star players on one team go quiet and don't produce, it's often important to look at who they're going up against.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's one of the things as we get to the playoffs, I think that's what separates good coaches from great coaches. It's funny when I talked to DJ about what happened to the Edmonton Oilers in round 1 last year against the LA Kings, I thought the Kings were better. I thought the Kings were going to win. And it came down to coaching because they couldn't match the lines in Edmonton when they had Draisaitl and McDavid on the ice. The LA Kings could never get their fourth line on the ice. So their top lines got tired and the series slipped away from the LA Kings just because they were unable to match lines against a really talented Edmonton Oilers team.
The TLDR version of what I said is home team dictates who plays against whom. And if you are a good coach, which, I mean, we will joke and say that, hey, this coach stinks or whatever. Like, if you're coaching in the NHL in 2026, you are a wizard of hockey. Good coaches who know how to take advantage of matchups oftentimes win out. We got a bonus question from PD, as we do every week, in which PD asks us either a non-hockey question or something that's popped up in hockey, and he's saying, what does that mean? The bonus question from you today, PD, is what?
Well, I was watching the college football championship game. I try to watch all playoff sports as I can. A lot of uproar over a camera shot from the worldwide leader of sports on ESPN that showed a young lady in the stands. Uh-oh. And it was everywhere. Who is Abella Danger, and do I need to know who that is?
I'm going to direct this to Pete because I swear to God, I don't know everything about everything. I know a lot about some things. When I had to Google who this person is as well, because I have heard this person's name a lot, and I thought there are two worlds in which I'm not super familiar: wrestling and sue me. I'm not a guy, okay? I searched this name and found that it falls into one of these categories. Pete, maybe you're a little more qualified.
I have been described as by the New York Times as painfully straight. I will answer this question. Abella Danger is an adult film actress. Petey, you're a video guy, so you can do your own research.
Yeah. And I may do that, but however, reason I had to ask this question is because someone said that the producer / director at the worldwide leader of sports may be in some hot water. If I'm running the cameras there, I have no idea who that person is, and I mean that sincerely. So if everybody thinks that, if I've been in an ESPN TV truck before, dude, there's a lot of older 50 men that probably have no clue who that person was. So I'm thinking it wasn't as much intentional as people may have thought.
I feel like they've since learned who this person is.
Oh, they know now. Oh, yeah,
people,
there's meetings right now. For sure.
So people were mad because they showed someone who works in adult entertainment. I don't know.
She's a person.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know anything about this person,
student.
but
Student
unless...
at the school.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if she's a student.
Yeah, she is a student at Miami.
Is she?
She's getting her law school. Yep, she went to law school at Miami right now, getting her law degree.
Respect.
That is a true story. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I understand if someone is a prude or something like that, but like this, we're not talking about a criminal here. We're talking about somebody with a perfectly legal job who, to my knowledge, is an upstanding citizen.
Is allowed to go to sporting events and perhaps be shown on TV.
And root for their team.
Leave in the comments why everything we just said was wrong or what we missed about Abella Danger that makes this so controversial. Hopefully everything is on the up and up. And also ask questions for a future episode because we've gotten a lot of questions for these installments, questions about hockey, and it's been a blast posing them to Petey. Again, if you could, make sure you toss Petey a subscription, please, on YouTube, because this is where we get our hockey questions answered. It's a little more 201, 301, higher level stuff. So once you kind of have the basics here, you're going to understand everything Petey's doing, but Petey also does very, very accessible stuff. He's got a great intro series that you should check out. Petey, thank you as always.
Yeah, and I just want to say one thing before I go. And a lot of it we just did here is we had fun, and I encourage all hockey fans, and that's why I'm such a big fan of What Chaos, because it brings fun to a sport that should be fun. This is sports. Let's have fun, and I appreciate What Chaos giving a voice to all of those things like pop culture and having a little bit of fun talking about a game. So great job, you guys. I appreciate it.
We try to. It is but a game, but it's a beautiful game, as Pete Blackburn would put it. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Petey.
Thanks, guys.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to What Chaos here on YouTube. You will get everything, daily episodes, player interviews, and so much more. It's all here on the What Chaos YouTube. Hit subscribe.